Welcome to the Larry Kreider's Leadership Podcast. Larry is the author of over 40 books, the founder of Dove International, a worldwide family of churches and ministries in 6 continents, and has over 50 years of leadership experience. He and his guests will share inspirational leadership insights from their journey with God. These insights, gleaned from serving leaders in many nations, will transform your life and leadership. For more information on Larry's books and resources, visit LarryKreider.com.
Hi, I'm Larry Kreider. I'm here with Merle Shenk, and we're talking today about what is that one thing that could be life-changing for you if you're an aspiring leader. Maybe in leadership now, called to leadership in the future. And Merle, you've had lots of experience in leadership. Let me ask you the question. Let's just get into it right now.
Sure.
What is there anything that stands out to you? Say, that thing might sound simple, but it's made all the difference in my life.
Man, I think for me is the relationships that you get in contact with, in ministry. One of the things that, Luke 10 talks about sons of peace, and that's really how I saw one of our churches, the main church plant that we've done. It was started because somebody said, hey, you're in ministry, you love to minister to people, why don't you come to my house?
Wow.
And we have this prayer meeting that we're doing. Come to my house and pray with us, lead that with us. And because that person, his name was Sam, opened up his house for us, that's where a church started out of. We started as a small group, and it grew and grew and grew, and then we wound up having to go and rent a building, and the rest is history.
So are you saying to do something in God, you should have another person, or you connect with other people? What are you saying?
It is so much easier if you do. I've done it both ways, and honestly, you can't be a leader without followers, right?
That's right.
So,
that's right.
Until there's other people that are kind of on board with it, you can be taking a walk or whatever. That whole
that's the old saying.
You're right.
Yeah. You say you're a leader, but you're not a leader.
But if you're
nobody's following you.
Nobody's following you. You're just taking a walk, right? So, those relationships, but there's special relationships in that too. Like it's not just anybody.
Right.
I have friends that we would push each other. We would stir our faith.
Yeah.
One of my friends, we would just go to a gas station.
Yeah.
And somebody would be there, and we wind up praying for them. We wind up ministering to that person, and kind of when I would run out of steam in the conversation, my friend would pipe in, and he would go and pray and prophesy. We would wind up prophesying over this person. Whether it was a worker at the gas station or someone else we met, and we would just do that like night after night after night, and it was just a great flow of relationship that happened. Another friend of mine, we met somebody we knew in a shopping mall, and we wound up praying for them, and by the time we were done, we were prophesying at the top of our lungs over this, over people, and other people were coming. We were praying for them, people we didn't know. We were praying for them, but I would not have not done that by myself.
Right.
I think having recognizing what I call catalyst relationships.
I like that.
Is a relationship. A catalyst helps something happen. It provides an environment for a chemical reaction to happen. And I think relationships are like that, where the two people together can cause an environment where God can move supernaturally in special ways.
Well, that's why Jesus sent people out too. That's why.
Right.
I look back on my life and I realize that anything that I've done that had any significance, I didn't do alone.
Yeah.
I always found somebody else, and I remember a lot of times I wouldn't even start something unless I had that person, because that catalytic relationship made all the difference. It's just the power of two together.
That's so important.
It's powerful. Jesus says, if 2 or 3 gather my name, I'm with you. There's something about connecting with other people. Our natural tendency is do it alone.
Yeah.
And that's not the God way to do it.
Yeah, it's true. I often think about Paul and Silas. They were stuck in prison. It's in the middle of the night.
Yes.
And they're there together. And they start singing and praising God. The other prisoners are hearing them. And I'm like, I think, what if they were not chained together? What if it was just Paul? What if it was just Silas there? Would have that been that same dynamic of encouraging faith? And you can say, well, God had a plan to deliver them anyway, and I believe he did. But there was the element of them singing together, praying together. Everyone is hearing it, and you see God come down, shake the prison, and set them free. And I think that's part of that importance. The Bible says that that you should not walk alone, because when two walk together, the other can help each other. And not only can you do great things, but you can survive hard things when you're walking together with special relationships. In your life, and I've seen that too in my life when going through a difficult time, going through a hardship financially, going through a hardship emotionally, or in leadership, people are disappointing you. Man, you get with somebody who's your friend, who knows you at a heart level, and you can pray together, you can bare your heart, and it helps you get through those difficult times. It helps you get through those
often people
times.
think that person will be like us. Often they're different than us. I found often the person that God connects me with is somebody who has gifts and callings that are a lot different than mine, but somehow we stir each other up and move ahead together in that way, and it's amazing. It's amazing what God does to it.
Yeah, so the principle that I find is that you can do more together than you can do by yourself. And I think that when you find a relationship like that, pay special attention to that relationship. Make room for it. Take time to cultivate that, because God, the kingdom comes on earth through such relationships. God's kingdom comes and manifests on earth through such relationships. So take time for those relationships in your life. Find them, identify them, give special time to them I think in our lives, where we look for relationships like that. We take time to do things together. We even recognize it, talk about it. Some of my friends and I, we would talk about that. Like, man, I don't do this stuff alone. I don't do this stuff when I'm just at the gas station by myself or driving down the road by myself. Or I do, but a lot less. It's on a much lesser scale as when someone is with me that's stirring up. One time, my friend and I, we were praying for this guy who was 100% deaf in his one ear and like 80% deaf in his other ear. And I felt like God told me to pray for him. And my friend told me later, like, I knew God was going to tell me, I knew you were going to go and pray for this guy, and I just didn't have any faith for healing to happen. And the interesting thing is that I prayed for this guy, and I kind of ran out of steam. If I'm honest, like I just kind of ran out of steam. I ran out of things to pray, to say, we're declaring healing over this guy's ears. But my friend, like as I ran out of steam, my friend's faith was stirred. And all of a sudden he starts praying, and he's the one who actually had the faith to start like testing this guy's ears. Like, look that way. Can you hear what I'm saying? That whole thing. And testing these guys' ears. And after about 40 minutes, it took about 40 minutes for this guy to be healed. And if I'm honest, if I was alone, I probably would have just prayed for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and nothing happened, we'll just go on. But because of just the dynamic that was happening, the two of us were working together, and what happened was this guy wound up getting 100% healed. And he was an elderly gentleman.
Wow.
And that day, not only did he get healed, he gave his life to Jesus.
Wow.
And he was restored in relationship with his daughter, who he had been estranged from for like 10 years or something.
Yes.
It was just wonderful how that relationship kind of helped that happen in my life. It pulled, special catalyst relationship pulls the best out of you. It stirs your faith in special moments. It helps you, kind of stick to it and push through and endure in challenging times, or also endure in faith. The Bible talks about enduring in faith and pushing through in faith. And those kind of relationships help you do that. So it's really a special thing to really kind of hone in on, recognize, be cognizant of it, and then, make room for it in our lives.
So what can we take home today? Aspiring leaders all over the world. Catalytic relationships. Don't do it alone. He said it so well. And find others who have the same heart, the same call that you have, and together you can do so much more. The Bible says one sends 1,000 to flight, 2, 10,000 to flight. It's the powerful multiplication principle. So whether you're in leadership in the marketplace, in the church, community, family, whatever, this principle of catalytic relationships would change your life. It's so simple, yet it's so profound.
God has not called us to walk alone.
Exactly.
Thank you for listening to Larry Kreider's Leadership Podcast. If you want more information about any of Larry's books, daily devotionals, small group resources, or any other teachings, go to larrykreider.com.